Maya Chun sat in the back corner of the music room, trying to make herself invisible. She watched the clock on the wall tick slowly toward 3:15 p.m., just 10 more minutes until she could escape from this class that made her feel so small and stupid. The teacher, Mr. Williams, stood at the front of the room talking about something called chord progressions. Maya did not understand most of what he said. The other students nodded like they knew everything. Some of them had been playing piano since they were 5 years old. Maya only started 2 years ago when she was 15. She looked down at her hands resting on the desk. Her fingers moved quietly, pretending to play a song only she could hear. This was something she did every day in music class. While other students answered questions about scales and timing, Maya played invisible melodies on her wooden desk. Maya remembered the day she first heard piano music. She was walking past the music room after school when she heard someone playing a beautiful song. The music made her stop walking. It made her heart feel strange and happy at the same time. She stood outside the door listening until the music stopped. When she finally looked through the window, she saw Sarah Martinez, the smartest girl in school, sitting at a shiny black piano. That night, Maya went home and told her parents she wanted to learn piano. Her mother looked up from cooking dinner and shook her head. "Piano lessons cost too much money," she said in their native language. "You need to focus on your studies." "Music is just for fun," Maya's father agreed. He worked 2 jobs to pay for their small apartment and Maya's school supplies. "Music will not help you become a doctor," he said. "Play piano if you want, but remember what is important." Maya understood what her parents meant. They came to America when she was 10 years old. They left everything behind to give Maya a better life. They wanted her to have a good job, make good money, and be safe. Music could not promise those things, but Maya could not stop thinking about the piano. She saved money from her part-time job at the grocery store. After 6 months, she had enough to buy a small keyboard from the music store downtown. It was not new and some of the keys made strange sounds, but it was hers. She set up the keyboard in her tiny bedroom. The room was so small that her bed touched one wall and her desk touched the other. The keyboard had to sit on top of her dresser. Maya bought cheap headphones so she could practice without bothering anyone. Every night after finishing homework, Maya put on her headphones and played. She found free lessons on the internet and watched them on her old laptop. Her fingers felt clumsy at first. The songs sounded terrible. But slowly, very slowly, she began to learn. Maya kept her piano playing secret from most people at school. She was already different enough. She was one of the few Asian students in her classes. Her clothes came from discount stores. Her English was good, but sometimes she still made mistakes that made other kids laugh. She did not need another reason to stand out. In music class, Maya sat quietly and listened. She watched the other students play complicated pieces that she could only dream about. Jennifer Park could play Chopin like it was easy. Michael Ross played jazz piano that made everyone clap. Even the kids who complained about music class could play simple songs better than Maya. Mr. Williams never called on Maya to play. She was grateful for this. She knew she would embarrass herself. Her playing was not ready for other people to hear. At home in her bedroom with her headphones on, she could pretend she was good. But in the bright lights of the music room, everyone would see the truth. Maya's favorite time to practice was late at night when her parents were asleep. She would sit at her keyboard and play the songs she was learning. Sometimes she would try to play the beautiful song she heard Sarah Martinez playing that first day. She never got it right, but she kept trying. During these quiet practice sessions, Maya would imagine things that seemed impossible. She imagined playing on a real piano instead of her small keyboard. She imagined playing for people who would listen and smile. She imagined her parents being proud of her music instead of worried about it. But when morning came, Maya would put her headphones away and get ready for school. She would walk past the music room and remember that she was just a beginner. She was just a girl with a cheap keyboard and big dreams that would probably never come true. Maya's best friend, Lisa, knew about the keyboard. Lisa had seen it when she came over to study. "Why don't you join the school band?" Lisa asked one day. Or play in the talent show? Maya laughed, but it was not a happy laugh. I am not good enough, she said. Those kids have been playing forever. I just started. So what? Lisa said. Everyone starts somewhere, but Maya knew it was not that simple. Starting late meant always being behind. It meant watching other people do things you wished you could do. It meant sitting in the back of music class, feeling small and invisible. Maya's parents sometimes heard her practicing through her bedroom door, even with headphones. Her mother would shake her head and remind Maya about her science homework. Her father would tell her not to stay up too late playing games on her computer. They did not understand that she was not playing games. She was chasing something that felt more important than anything else in her life. Sometimes Maya wondered if her parents were right. Maybe she should forget about piano and focus on becoming a doctor like they wanted. It would make them happy. It would be practical and safe. But every time she thought about giving up, she would remember that feeling she had when she first heard piano music. That feeling told her that some dreams were worth chasing, even when they seemed impossible. Maya looked at the clock again. 5 more minutes until music class ended. 5 more minutes of sitting in the back row, watching other students do what she wished she could do. 5 more minutes of being invisible. But Maya did not know that her invisible days were about to end. She did not know that Mrs. Rodriguez, the substitute teacher who sometimes helped in music class, had been watching her. Mrs. Rodriguez had seen Maya's fingers moving on her desk. She had seen the longing in Maya's eyes when other students played. Change was coming to Maya's quiet world. But for now, she just watched the clock and dreamed of music only she could hear. The morning announcements crackled through the old speakers in Maya's first period class. She was only half listening while copying notes from the board. Something about a football game, a bake sale, and then something that made her stop writing. Annual talent show auditions will be held next Friday after school, the voice said. All students are welcome to try out. Sign up in the main office. Maya felt her stomach flip. The talent show happened every spring, and she always watched from the audience. She had seen amazing performances over the years, students who could sing like professional singers, dancers who moved like they were floating, musicians who played instruments like they were born holding them. At lunch, Maya sat with Lisa at their usual table near the windows. Lisa was excited about the talent show announcement. You should totally audition, Lisa said, taking a bite of her sandwich. Maya nearly choked on her apple juice. Are you crazy? I cannot do that. Why not? You play piano. I play keyboard in my bedroom with headphones on. That is not the same thing. Lisa rolled her eyes. Music is music, Maya. You are better than you think. Maya shook her head. She had heard the students who usually performed in the talent show. Jennifer Park played classical pieces that made teachers cry. Marcus Johnson sang songs that made everyone get goosebumps. Tony Rodriguez played guitar solos that made the whole auditorium cheer. Maya played simple songs on a keyboard that cost $50 at a pawn shop. After lunch, Maya had music class. Mr. Williams was sick, so Mrs. Rodriguez was teaching instead. Maya liked Mrs. Rodriguez better than Mr. Williams. She was younger and smiled more. She also seemed to notice students that other teachers ignored. Mrs. Rodriguez was talking about the talent show when Maya walked into the music room. I hope some of you will audition, Mrs. Rodriguez said as students found their seats. The talent show is a wonderful chance to share your music with the school. Maya took her usual seat in the back corner. She watched as several students raised their hands to ask questions about the auditions. What kind of music can we play? Jennifer asked. Any kind you want, Mrs. Rodriguez said. Classical, pop, rock, jazz. The judges want to see variety. How long should our piece be? Michael asked. 3 to 5 minutes is perfect. Long enough to show your skill, short enough to keep the audience interested. Maya listened to all the questions and felt more nervous with each answer. 3 to 5 minutes felt like forever. She could barely play a 2-minute song without making mistakes after class. Maya was packing her notebook when she heard her name. Maya, could you stay for a minute? Maya looked up. Mrs. Rodriguez was standing near her desk, smiling. Maya felt worried. Had she done something wrong? I wanted to talk to you about the talent show, Mrs. Rodriguez said. Maya felt her face get hot. Oh, I am not going to audition. Why not? Maya did not know how to explain without sounding pathetic. I am not good enough. I only started playing piano 2 years ago. Mrs. Rodriguez sat on the edge of her desk. Can I tell you something? Some of the most beautiful music I have ever heard came from people who started late. They play with passion because they remember what it feels like to want something so badly. Maya looked at her hands. But the other students have been playing forever. They know so much more than me. That is true, Mrs. Rodriguez said. But technique is not everything. Heart matters too. And I see how you move your fingers during class. I see how you listen to music. You have something special. Maya felt confused. You notice me? Mrs. Rodriguez smiled. I notice all my students, especially the quiet ones who think nobody sees them. Maya felt tears starting in her eyes. She'd blinked them away quickly. What songs do you know how to play? Mrs. Rodriguez asked. Maya thought about her small collection of songs. I know some simple pieces, nothing fancy. I have been working on Claire de Lune, but it is not very good. Claire de Lune is beautiful, Mrs. Rodriguez said. It does not need to be complicated to be moving, but everyone else will play hard pieces. I will look stupid. Mrs. Rodriguez was quiet for a moment. Then she said something that surprised Maya. Do you know what the talent show really needs? Variety? Yes, we will have students playing difficult classical pieces. But we also need different kinds of music. Simple pieces played with feeling can touch people just as much as complicated ones. Maya felt a tiny spark of hope, but she pushed it down. I practice on a keyboard with headphones. I have never played for anyone. The piano in this room is available after school, Mrs. Rodriguez said. You could practice here if you want. Get used to playing on a real piano. Maya's heart started beating faster. A real piano. She had dreamed about playing on a real piano for 2 years. I do not know, Maya said quietly. Mrs. Rodriguez stood up and walked to the piano. She sat down and played a few notes of Claire de Lune. The sound was rich and beautiful, nothing like Maya's keyboard. This piano wants to be played, Mrs. Rodriguez said. It has been waiting for the right person to make it sing. Maya walked slowly to the piano. She touched one of the keys gently. The sound was pure and perfect. Just think about it, Mrs. Rodriguez said. You do not have to decide today. But promise me you will think about it. Maya nodded. She was already thinking about it. She was thinking about how it would feel to play this beautiful piano. She was thinking about sharing her music with other people instead of hiding it in her bedroom. But she was also thinking about all the ways she could embarrass herself. What if she forgot the notes? What if her hands shook? What if people laughed? That evening, Maya sat at her keyboard in her bedroom. She put on her headphones and played Claire de Lune the way she had been practicing it. It was simple, but she played it carefully. Each note was clean and clear. Maya closed her eyes and imagined playing the song on the real piano in the music room. She imagined people listening instead of just her bedroom walls. The thought made her excited and terrified at the same time. Her mother knocked on her bedroom door. Maya, dinner is ready. Coming, Mom, Maya said. She took off her headphones and looked at her keyboard. For the first time, it looked small and cheap. Not because she did not love it anymore, but because she was starting to dream bigger. At dinner, Maya was quiet. Her parents talked about their day while she thought about Mrs. Rodriguez's words. Heart matters too. You have something special. Did she really have something special? Maya had never thought about it that way. She thought about music all the time, but she always focused on what she could not do instead of what she could do. After dinner, Maya helped her mother with dishes. As she dried a plate, she asked, Mom, do you think I play piano well? Her mother looked surprised. You practice every night. You must be getting better. But do you think I am good? Her mother was quiet for a moment. I think you love it very much. Sometimes love is more important than being perfect. Maya felt that tiny spark of hope again. Maybe Mrs. Rodriguez was right. Maybe heart mattered more than she thought that night. Maya lay in bed thinking about the talent show. She thought about the real piano waiting in the music room. She thought about Mrs. Rodriguez saying the piano wanted to be played. Maya had spent 2 years hiding her music. Maybe it was time to let other people hear it. Maybe it was time to be brave, thus she was not ready to make a decision yet. But for the first time since the announcement, Maya was not saying no. She was saying maybe, and maybe felt like the beginning of something important. Maya spent the whole week thinking about the talent show. Every day after school, she walked past the music room and saw the piano waiting inside. Mrs. Rodriguez had given her permission to practice there, but Maya was too scared to go in. What if someone heard her? What if she was not as good as she thought? What if Mrs. Rodriguez realized she had made a mistake? On Thursday afternoon, Maya finally got brave enough to enter the music room. Her hands were shaking as she opened the door. The room was empty and quiet. Sunlight came through the windows and made the piano look like it was glowing. Maya walked slowly to the piano bench. She sat down and lifted the cover over the keys. The keys were white and black and perfect. Nothing like her keyboard at home. With its sticky keys and weird sounds, she pressed one key gently. The sound filled the whole room. It was beautiful and scary at the same time. Maya played a few scales to warm up her fingers. Then she started playing Clair de Lune. The song sounded different on the real piano, richer, fuller, more alive. For 30 minutes, Maya played in the empty music room. She played Clair de Lune over and over until she knew every note by heart. When she finished, she sat quietly listening to the last note fade away. Maybe she could do this. Maybe she could audition. Friday morning came too fast. Maya had barely slept the night before. She kept changing her mind about auditioning. 1 minute she felt brave. The next minute she felt terrified. At lunch, Lisa would not stop talking about the auditions. You have to sign up, Lisa said. Today is the last day. Maya picked at her food. I do not know if I am ready. Nobody is ever ready for anything. That is what makes it exciting. After lunch, Maya walked to the main office. There was a clipboard on the counter with a sign-up sheet for auditions. She could see names written in neat handwriting: Jennifer Park, Marcus Johnson, Sarah Martinez. All the students everyone expected to audition. The secretary smiled at Maya. Are you here to sign up for the talent show? Maya stared at the clipboard. Her hand felt heavy when she picked up the pen. She wrote her name at the bottom of the list. Maya Chun, piano. Auditions start at 3:30 in the auditorium, the secretary said. Good luck, Maya nodded and walked away. She could not believe she had actually signed up. Her heart was beating so fast she thought other people might hear it. The rest of the day passed in a blur. Maya could not focus on any of her classes. She kept thinking about the audition. What if she forgot the notes? What if her hands shook too much to play? At 3:15, Maya walked to the auditorium. Other students were already there, warming up and practicing. Jennifer was at the piano playing something that sounded impossibly difficult. Her fingers moved so fast Maya could barely see them. Marcus was practicing scales with his voice. Even his warm-up exercises sounded professional. Maya sat in the back row and listened to everyone else practice. They all sounded so good, so confident, so ready. At 3:30, Mrs. Peterson, the drama teacher, stood up at the front of the auditorium. Welcome, everyone, she said. Thank you for auditioning for our spring talent show. Our judges today are Mr. Williams from the music department, myself, and our 2 student council representatives, David Kim and Amanda Rodriguez. Maya looked at the judges sitting at a table in the front row. They all had notebooks and serious expressions. Mr. Williams was the teacher who never called on her in music class. David Kim was the student council president. Amanda Rodriguez was the smartest girl in the senior class. Auditions will be in the order you signed up, Mrs. Peterson continued. Each student will have 5 minutes to perform. We will announce the results on Monday. Maya realized she would be one of the last to audition since she signed up at the end of the list. She would have to sit and watch everyone else perform first. Jennifer went first. She played a piece by Chopin that made the whole auditorium feel like a concert hall. Her hands moved across the keys like dancing. When she finished, the judges were all smiling and writing notes. Marcus sang next. His voice filled the auditorium without a microphone. Maya got goosebumps listening to him. The judges looked impressed. One by one, students performed. A girl who could play violin like she was in an orchestra. A boy who did magic tricks that fooled everyone. Twin sisters who danced together like they were one person. Each performance was better than the last. Maya felt smaller and smaller in her seat. What was she thinking? How could she compete with these students? When it was finally her turn, Maya walked to the piano on shaky legs. The auditorium felt huge and empty. The judges looked at her expectantly. "What will you be playing?" Mrs. Peterson asked. "Claire de Lune by Debussy," Maya said. Her voice sounded tiny in the big space. She sat at the piano bench and put her hands on the keys. This piano was different from the one in the music room. The keys felt heavier. The bench was the wrong height. Maya started playing. At first, her hands were shaking so much she could barely hit the right notes. But as the song continued, she began to relax. The music was familiar and comforting. She played the simple version she had learned, nothing fancy or complicated. Just the melody, clean and clear. She tried to put feeling into each note the way Mrs. Rodriguez had taught her. When she finished, Maya looked up at the judges. Mr. Williams was writing something in his notebook. Mrs. Peterson was smiling, but it was the kind of smile adults give children when they do something cute. David Kim was the first to speak. "That was very nice, Maya. Clean and simple." "Yes," Amanda Rodriguez agreed. "A lovely basic interpretation," Mrs. Peterson nodded. "Perfect. For an intermission piece. Something gentle while the audience takes a break." Maya felt like someone had poured cold water over her head. Intermission piece, background music. Something to play while people went to the bathroom. Double quotes. "Thank you, Maya," Mr. Williams said. "We will let you know our decision on Monday." Maya stood up from the piano bench on unsteady legs. She walked off the stage feeling like she might cry. As she gathered her backpack, she could hear the next student setting up. A senior boy with a guitar who everyone said was amazing. Maya left the auditorium and walked home in a daze. She had been so focused on whether she would make it into the talent show that she never thought about how she would be used if she did. Make it. Intermission music. That was what her 2 years of practice had earned her. That was what her dreams were worth. At home, Maya went straight to her bedroom. She sat at her keyboard but did not turn it on. She just stared at the keys and thought about the judge's words, clean and simple. Basic interpretation. Perfect for intermission. Maya had always known she was not as good as the other students. But she thought maybe, just maybe, her music had some value. She thought people might actually want to listen to her play. Instead, she was background music. Something to fill time while people took breaks from the real performances. Maya's mother knocked on her door. "How did your audition go?" "Fine," Maya lied. "I will find out Monday if I made it." Her mother went away, but Maya stayed sitting at her keyboard. She thought about Mrs. Rodriguez saying her music was special. She thought about the feeling she got when she played alone in her room. Maybe that feeling was enough. Maybe she did not need other people to understand or appreciate her music. Maybe it was okay to just play for herself, but deep down Maya knew that was not true. She wanted people to hear her music and feel something. She wanted to matter. The audition had shown her the truth. She was not special. She was just a girl with a cheap keyboard and dreams that were too big for her talent. Maya turned on her keyboard and put on her headphones. She played Claire de Lune one more time. It sounded small and sad through the tiny speakers. She wondered if she should even care about making it into the talent show. If she did make it, she would be the intermission act, the background music, the person everyone ignored. But as Maya played, a small part of her heart whispered something different. Maybe being in the talent show at all was something to be proud of. Maybe intermission music was better than no music at all. Maya did not know yet that making it into the talent show would change everything. She did not know that sometimes the smallest opportunities can lead to the biggest moments. She just knew that Monday felt very far away, and she was scared of what the answer would be. Monday morning felt like the longest morning of Maya's life. She kept checking the main office bulletin board between classes, but the talent show results were not posted yet. At lunch, Maya could barely eat. Lisa tried to distract her with gossip about other students, but Maya could only think about the audition. "Stop worrying," Lisa said. "You did great." Maya had not told Lisa about the judges calling her music intermission material. She was too embarrassed. Finally, at 2:30 p.m., Mrs. Peterson's voice came over the loudspeaker. "The following students have been selected for the Spring Talent Show," she announced. Maya held her breath as Mrs. Peterson read the names. Jennifer Park, Marcus Johnson, the twin dancers, the violin girl, the magic boy. Maya's heart sank lower with each name. Then she heard it, Maya Chung. Maya could not believe it. She had made it into the talent show. After school, Mrs. Peterson posted the complete performance schedule on the bulletin board. Maya pushed through the crowd of students to see where her name appeared. There it was, right in the middle of the list. Intermission, Maya Chung, piano. Maya felt excited and disappointed at the same time. She was in the talent show, but exactly where the judges had planned to put her. During intermission, while people took bathroom breaks and bought snacks, over the next 2 weeks, Maya practiced every day after school in the music room. Mrs. Rodriguez helped her work on her timing and expression. "Remember," Mrs. Rodriguez said, "even intermission music matters. People need a moment to rest and reflect. Your job is to give them something beautiful during that time." Maya nodded, but she still felt like she was not really part of the main show. The other performers practiced in the auditorium during the week. Maya could hear them from the music room. Jennifer's classical piece sounded more amazing every day. Marcus's voice got stronger and more powerful. Everyone was preparing something spectacular. Maya just kept playing her simple version of Clair de Lune. She knew it was not spectacular, but it was the best she could do. The night of the talent show finally arrived. Maya stood in front of her bedroom mirror wearing her best dress. It was black and simple. Nothing fancy like the dresses she saw other girls wearing to school dances. Her mother came into the room. "You look beautiful," she said. Maya's parents were coming to the talent show. They had never seen Maya perform before. Maya was nervous about them hearing her play, but also excited. At school, the auditorium was buzzing with activity. Students and parents filled the seats. Maya peeked through the backstage curtain and saw hundreds of people talking and laughing. Backstage was chaos. Students were warming up, fixing costumes, and practicing last-minute details. Maya found a quiet corner with the piano keyboard they had set up for her to practice on. She played through Clair de Lune quietly, trying to calm her nerves. Her hands felt steady, which was good. But her heart was racing. The show began at 7 p.m. Maya watched from the wings as Mrs. Peterson welcomed the audience and introduced the first act. Jennifer walked onto the stage in a beautiful blue dress. She sat at the grand piano and began playing her Chopin piece. The auditorium fell completely silent. Even backstage, everyone stopped what they were doing to listen. When Jennifer finished, the applause was thunderous. Maya felt her stomach flip. How could she follow performances like that? Marcus sang next. His voice was so powerful that Maya could feel it in her chest. The audience gave him a standing ovation. One by one, the acts performed. Each one was better than the last. The twin dancers moved like they were floating. The violin girl played a piece so complex that Maya could not even follow the melody. Then Mrs. Peterson returned to the microphone. "Ladies and gentlemen, we will now take a 15-minute intermission. Please enjoy some refreshments in the lobby, and we will return with more amazing performances." Maya's heart stopped. This was it. Her moment. She walked onto the stage as half the audience stood up to leave. People were talking loudly, gathering their purses, checking their phones. Maya sat at the piano bench and watched the auditorium half empty. The people who stayed were not really watching her. They were talking to their neighbors or looking at their programs. Maya was just background noise while they waited for the Second half to begin. Maya put her hands on the piano keys and felt a wave of sadness wash over her. This was not how she had imagined her first performance. She was invisible, unimportant, just filling time. She started to play the opening notes of Clair de Lune, the way she had practiced it hundreds of times. Simple, clean, basic. Perfect for intermission, but as Maya played, something strange happened. The familiar melody felt different tonight. Maybe it was the grand piano. Maybe it was the lights. Maybe it was the fact that people were finally hearing her music, even if they were not really listening. Maya began to think about why she loved this song. She thought about the first time she heard it and how it made her feel. She thought about all the nights she practiced it alone in her room, dreaming of sharing it with others. Without planning to, Maya began to change the way she was playing. She added small variations to the melody. She played some notes softer, others stronger. She let her feelings guide her fingers instead of just following the sheet. Music. Maya closed her eyes and forgot about the audience. She forgot about being intermission music. She forgot about feeling small and unimportant. She just played. Maya began to weave other melodies into Clair de Lune, fragments of songs she had learned on her own. Pieces of melodies that came from her heart instead of from a music book. The music began to tell a story. It told about a girl who felt invisible, about parents who worked hard to give their children a better life, about dreams that seemed too big, about finding beauty in small moments. Maya had never played like this before. She was not just playing notes. She was playing her life. As the music grew and changed, something began to happen in the auditorium. The talking got quieter. People stopped moving around. Maya could feel the attention in the room shifting toward the stage, but Maya did not notice. She was lost in her music, playing from a place deeper than technique or training. She was playing from her soul. The melody climbed higher and became more complex. Maya's hands moved across the keys with confidence she had never felt before. She was not thinking about making mistakes. She was just letting the music flow through her. Maya played about her grandmother, who she missed every day. She played about the long hours her parents worked. She played about feeling caught between two cultures never quite fitting in anywhere, but she also played about hope, about the beauty of trying something new, about the courage it takes to share your heart with strangers. As Maya approached the end of her improvised piece, she brought the melody back to the simple, beautiful theme of Clair de Lune, but now it sounded different, richer, full of everything she had added to it. Maya played the final notes softly, letting them hang in the air like a question mark. Then she opened her eyes. The auditorium was completely silent. People who had left for intermission had quietly returned to their seats. Everyone was looking at her. Actually looking at her. Maya sat at the piano bench, suddenly aware of where she was and what had just happened. She had been supposed to play a simple 3-minute intermission piece. Instead, she had played for almost 10 minutes. And she had not played the music that was written on the page. She had played music that came from inside her. Maya did not know what to do. She had broken the rules. She was supposed to be background music, and instead she had created something entirely her own. She stood up slowly from the piano bench, not sure if she should bow or run off the stage. That was when the silence broke. The first clap came from somewhere in the middle of the auditorium, then another. Then suddenly the whole room exploded with applause. Maya stood frozen on the stage, not understanding what was happening. People were not just clapping. They were standing up. The entire auditorium was on their feet, clapping harder than they had for any other performance. Maya looked out at the sea of faces and saw something she had never seen before. People were smiling at her. Really smiling, some people had tears in their eyes. In the third row, Maya spotted her parents. Her mother was crying and clapping at the same time. Her father, who never showed emotion in public, was standing and applauding with a huge smile on his face. Mrs. Rodriguez was standing in the wings, with her hands over her heart. She was crying too, but she looked proud and amazed. The applause went on and on. Maya had never heard applause last so long. Finally, Mrs. Peterson came onto the stage. "Ladies and gentlemen, she said into her microphone. Maya, Chun. The applause got even louder. Maya felt dizzy. She managed a small bow and then walked off the stage on shaking legs. Backstage was chaos, but a different kind than before. Students and teachers surrounded Maya. That was incredible, said Jennifer Park, the same girl whose classical playing had intimidated Maya so much. Where did that come from? Asked Marcus Johnson. I got chills listening to you. Mrs. Rodriguez pushed through the crowd and hugged Maya tight. That was not the song you practiced, she whispered in Maya's ear. I know, Maya whispered back. I do not know what happened. I just started playing and ... You found your voice, Mrs. Rodriguez said. That is what happened. You stopped playing someone else's music and started playing your own? Maya felt overwhelmed. She had spent weeks preparing to be invisible, to be background music that no one would notice. Instead, she had done something that made everyone stop and listen. The second half of the talent show continued, but Maya could barely focus. Other students performed, and they were all wonderful. But people kept turning to look at her in the wings. Students who had never spoken to her before came up to tell her how much they loved her music. When the show ended, Maya walked onto the stage with all the other performers for the final bow. When Mrs. Peterson introduced her again, the applause was just as loud as before. After the show, Maya was surrounded by people in the lobby. Parents she did not know came up to shake her hand and tell her how beautiful her playing was. Where did you learn to play like that? Asked one mother. Have you been taking lessons for a long time? Asked another. Maya did not know how to answer. She had been taking lessons from internet videos and practicing on a keyboard in her bedroom. Her own parents finally reached her through the crowd. Maya, her mother said, we had no idea you could play like that. Her father just hugged her. I am so proud of you, he said quietly. Maya started crying then. She had wanted her parents to be proud of her music for so long. She had dreamed of this moment but never really believed it would happen. Mrs. Rodriguez appeared next to them. Mr. and Mrs. Chun, she said, your daughter has real talent. Tonight was just the beginning. Maya's mother looked confused. But she only plays a keyboard at home. We thought it was just for fun. Music like that does not come from just for fun, Mrs. Rodriguez said. That comes from deep inside. Maya has a gift. As the crowd in the lobby began to thin out, Maya finally had a moment to think about what had happened. She had walked onto that stage planning to play a simple song that no one would remember. Instead, she had played music that seemed to touch everyone who heard it. She had played music that came from her heart instead of from a page. Maya realized that for the first time in her life, she had not been trying to hide or be invisible. She had not been trying to be like everyone else or to meet other people's expectations. She had just been herself. And people had loved it. Walking home with her parents, Maya felt like she was floating. The night air felt different. The streetlights looked brighter. Everything seemed more alive and beautiful. Maya, her father said as they walked, I owe you an apology. Maya looked at him in surprise. I thought music was just a hobby for you. I did not understand it was something important. Tonight I saw how wrong I was. Maya's mother nodded. You made people feel something with your music. That is not just a hobby, that is a gift. Maya felt her heart fill up with happiness. For 2 years, she had practiced alone, hoping that someday her parents would understand. Tonight, they finally did. When they got home, Maya went to her bedroom and sat at her keyboard. She put on her headphones and played the simple version of Clair de Lune that she had originally planned to perform. It sounded small and safe compared to what she had played on stage. Tonight, she had discovered that she could do more than just play notes correctly. She could create something entirely her own. Maya took off her headphones and played without them. For the first time, she did not worry about bothering anyone. Her parents had finally heard her music, and they understood that it mattered. She began to play the improvised version from the talent show, trying to remember all the changes she had made. Some of it came back to her easily. Other parts were gone forever, which made them feel even more special. As Maya played, she thought about how the evening had started. She had been so focused on being perfect, on not making mistakes, on meeting other people's expectations, but the moment she stopped worrying about all of that and just played from her heart, everything changed. The music became real. She became real. Maya understood now that there was a difference between playing music and being music. Tonight, for the first time, she had been music. She thought about all the students who had performed amazing pieces with perfect technique. They were all talented and wonderful. But Maya had done something different. She had told her story through the piano keys. Maya played until late that night, exploring melodies and ideas that she had never tried before. She was not worried about whether they were correct or impressive. She just wanted to see what kind of music lived inside her heart. When she finally went to bed, Maya lay awake thinking about the future. For the first time, music felt like more than just a dream or a hobby. It felt like a possibility. She did not know yet that a video of her performance was already being shared online. She did not know that music teachers and college scouts had been in the audience. She did not know that her life was about to change in ways she could never imagine. All Maya knew was that she had found something inside herself that she did not know existed. She had found her own voice, her own music, her own way of touching other people's hearts, and she was just getting started. The next morning, Maya woke up thinking the talent show had been a wonderful dream. But then she saw her black dress hanging on her closet door, and she knew it had really happened. At breakfast, her parents were different. They asked her questions about music that they had never asked before. "How long have you been able to play like that?" her mother asked. Maya stirred her cereal, trying to find the right words. "I have been practicing every night for 2 years. But last night was the first time I played like that." "What do you mean?" her father asked. "I always played exactly what was written on the music sheets. Last night I played what I felt inside." Her parents looked at each other with expressions Maya had never seen before. It was like they were seeing her for the first time. At school, Maya expected everything to go back to normal. She walked to her locker the same way she always did. But something was different. People were looking at her. "Maya?" called a voice behind her. She turned around and saw David Kim, the student council president who had been one of the judges. "I wanted to tell you again how amazing your performance was last night," he said. "I have been thinking about it all morning." Maya felt her face get hot. David Kim was popular and confident, the kind of person who usually did not notice quiet students like her. "Thank you," she said quietly. "No, really," David continued. "I have been to a lot of talent shows, and I have never heard anything like what you played." "Where did you learn to improvise like that?" Maya did not know how to answer. "I just played what I felt," David smiled. "That is exactly what made it so special." As Maya walked to her first class, more students stopped her. People she had never talked to before wanted to tell her how much they enjoyed her music. In music class, Mrs. Rodriguez was practically glowing with pride. "Class," she announced, "I want to talk about what happened at the talent show last night." Maya showed us something very important about music. Maya felt embarrassed as everyone turned to look at her. "Music is not just about playing the right notes," Mrs. Rodriguez continued. "It is about communication. It is about sharing your heart with other people." "Maya did that beautifully last night." Jennifer Park raised her hand. "Mrs. Rodriguez, I've been playing piano for 12 years and I could never do what Maya did. How did she learn to improvise like that?" Mrs. Rodriguez smiled. "That is a great question, Jennifer. Maya, would you like to answer?" Maya felt nervous with everyone looking at her. "I did not really learn it anywhere. I just let the music tell my story instead of trying to play someone else's story." The class was quiet for a moment. Then Michael Ross, who played jazz piano, spoke up. "That is what jazz musicians do," he said. "We take a basic song and make it our own." "But you did it with classical music, which is much harder." Maya had never thought about it that way. She had just been playing from her heart. At lunch, Maya sat with Lisa at their usual table. But today, other students kept coming over to talk. "Maya, said Sarah Martinez, the girl whose piano playing had first inspired Maya years ago. I heard. Your performance last night was incredible. I am so sorry I missed it. Thank you, Maya said, still not used to all the attention. I heard you played for almost 10 minutes without any sheet music, Sarah continued. How did you remember all those notes? I did not remember them, Maya explained. I made them up as I went along. Sarah's eyes got wide. You made it up, all of it? Maya nodded. Well, I started with Claire de Lune, but then I added other melodies. That felt right. That is amazing, Sarah said. I could never do that. I need my sheet music for everything. After Sarah left, Lisa leaned across the table. Maya, do you realize what is happening? She asked. What do you mean? Everyone is talking. About you. You are like famous now. Maya laughed. I am not famous. People are just being nice. But Lisa was right. Throughout the day, Maya noticed that she was no longer invisible. Students smiled at her in the hallways. Teachers mentioned her performance in their classes. Even. The principal stopped her to say congratulations. After school, Maya went to the music room to practice. She found Mrs. Rodriguez waiting for her with a big smile. Maya, I have some exciting news, she said. Do you remember Mrs. Patterson from the audience last night? Maya shook her head. She's a piano teacher who works with the local music college. She was at the talent show, and she was very impressed with your performance. Maya felt her heart start beating faster. She would like to meet with you and your parents to discuss your musical future, Mrs. Rodriguez continued. My musical future? Maya repeated. Maya, what you did last night was special. Really special. Mrs. Patterson thinks you might have the talent to study music seriously. Maya sat down heavily on the piano bench. Study music seriously? She had. Never thought that was possible for someone like her. But I only started playing 2 years ago, Maya said. I do not have enough training. That is exactly what makes you so unique, Mrs. Rodriguez explained. Most students who have been playing for many years learn to play exactly what is written. They forget how to play from their hearts. You never lost that because you learned. Differently, Maya looked at the piano keys. What would studying music seriously mean? It could mean private lessons with really good teachers. It could mean applying to music programs in college. It could mean a career in music if that is what you want. A career in music? Maya had dreamed about it but never believed it could really happen. Mrs. Rodriguez, Maya said quietly, do you really think I'm good enough for that? Mrs. Rodriguez sat down next to Maya on the piano bench. Maya, I have been teaching music for 15 years. I have seen a lot of talented students. But what you did last night was more than talent. It was artistry. Maya felt tears starting in her eyes. You made an entire auditorium full of people stop what they were doing and listen, Mrs. Rodriguez continued. You made them feel something. That is not something you can teach. That is something you either have or you do not have, and you have it. Maya wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. What do I do now? First, we call your parents and set up a meeting with Mrs. Patterson. Then we start working on expanding your repertoire. And then we see where your music takes you. Maya put her hands on the piano keys and played a few notes of Claire de Lune, but this time she let herself add the little changes that felt natural. The music sounded like her own voice speaking through the piano. Mrs. Rodriguez, Maya said. I am scared. Of what? What if last night was just luck? What if I cannot do it again? Mrs. Rodriguez smiled. Maya, what you did last night was not luck. It was you finally letting your true musical voice come out. That voice is still inside. It will always be inside you. Maya played a few more notes, letting them flow into a melody she had never played before. The question is not whether you can do it again, Mrs. Rodriguez said. The question is what you want to do with this gift you have discovered. Maya thought about her parents' proud faces in the audience. She thought about how it felt to share her music with other people and see them respond. She thought about all the melodies and stories that were still waiting inside her heart. For the first time in her life, Maya began to believe that her dreams might not be too big after all. Maybe, just maybe, she really was meant to make music. I want to learn everything, Maya said quietly. I want to see how far this can go, Mrs. Rodriguez smiled. Then that is exactly what we will do. Maya's parents came to school the next evening to meet Mrs. Patterson. Maya was nervous as they walked into the music room together. Mrs. Patterson was an older woman with kind eyes and silver hair. She smiled warmly when she saw Maya. You must be the young lady who made everyone cry at the talent show, Mrs. Patterson said. Maya felt embarrassed. I did not mean to make people cry. Oh, but that is the best kind of crying, Mrs. Patterson laughed. When music moves people to tears, it means you have touched their souls. They all sat down in chairs arranged in a circle. Maya's parents looked nervous too. Mr. and Mrs. Chun, Mrs. Patterson began, your daughter has a very special gift. What she did the other night was remarkable, Maya's mother spoke carefully. We are proud of Maya, but we do not understand music very well. We want her to have a good education for a stable career, Mrs. Patterson nodded. I understand completely. You want the best future for your daughter. But I think you should know that musicians can have very successful careers, and Maya has the kind of talent that could open many doors. Maya's father asked, what exactly are you suggesting? I would like to offer Maya private piano lessons with me, Mrs. Patterson said. I have been teaching for 30 years, and I work with students who go on to study at top music schools. Maya's heart jumped. Private lessons with a real teacher. How much would lessons cost? Her mother asked quietly. Maya felt her excitement deflate. She knew her parents worked hard for every dollar. Mrs. Patterson smiled. Actually, I would like to offer Maya a scholarship. Students with her level of natural ability are rare. I would consider it an honor to work with her. Maya could not believe what she was hearing. A scholarship meant free lessons. There's something else, Mrs. Patterson continued. I have a friend who runs a small recording studio. He was at the talent show, and he would like to make a recording of Maya's performance. A recording? Maya asked. Yes, he thinks other people should hear your music. With your permission, he would like to put it online for people to listen to. Maya looked at her parents. They looked confused but interested. What would that mean? Her father asked. It means Maya's music could reach people far beyond our school, Mrs. Patterson explained. Sometimes when something special happens, it is meant to be shared with the world. Over the next week, Maya had her first private lesson with Mrs. Patterson. It was different from anything she had experienced before. Instead of just learning to play notes correctly, Mrs. Patterson taught her about musical theory, composition, and how to develop her improvisational skills. You have been creating music instinctively, Mrs. Patterson explained. Now I want to teach you the technical knowledge that will help you create even more. Maya learned about chord progressions, scales, and how different keys could express different emotions. But Mrs. Patterson always emphasized that technique should serve feeling, not the other way around. Never let knowledge kill your instincts, she warned. Your ability to play from the heart is your greatest strength. Meanwhile, Mr. Johnson from the recording studio came to the school to record Maya playing her improvised version of the talent show performance. Maya was nervous playing for the microphones, but Mrs. Rodriguez encouraged her to just close her eyes and play the way she had that night. When Maya finished recording, Mr. Johnson was quiet for a long moment. That was beautiful, he said finally. I can see why everyone is talking about this. A few days later, Mr. Johnson called Maya's family. The recording was ready, and he wanted to post it online with their permission. What does that mean exactly? Maya's mother asked during the phone call. It means people all over the world could hear Maya's music, Mr. Johnson explained. I think this recording is special enough that many people would want to listen to it. Maya's parents looked at each other, then at Maya. What do you think? Her father asked. Maya thought about all the nights she had played alone in her bedroom, wishing someone would hear her music. Now she had the chance for thousands of people to hear it. I think I would like to share it, she said quietly. Mr. Johnson posted the recording on several music websites with the title, High School Students' Incredible Talent Show Performance. He also posted it on social media. At first, nothing much happened. A few people listened and left nice comments. But then, something started to change. People began sharing the recording with their friends. Musicians started talking about it online. Music teachers played it for their students. Within a week, the recording had been listened to by 10,000 people. Within 2 weeks, it was 50,000. By the end of the month, over 500,000 people had heard Maya's music. Maya could not believe what was happening. She started getting messages from people all over the world. A piano teacher in Japan wrote to say that Maya's music had inspired her students. A musician in Germany wanted to know if Maya had written the arrangement herself. Most surprising of all, Maya started getting emails from music colleges. "Dear Miss Chun," one letter began, "we heard your remarkable performance online and would like to invite you to audition for our music program." Maya showed the letter to her parents at dinner. "A college wants you to audition?" her mother asked, reading the letter carefully. "It is one of the best music schools in the country," Maya explained. More letters arrived. Schools that Maya had only dreamed about were inviting her to apply. Mrs. Patterson was not surprised when Maya told her about the college interest. "This is what happens when real talent meets opportunity," she said. "Your music is reaching exactly the people who can help you develop it further." But Maya felt overwhelmed. Everything was happening so fast. 6 months ago, she was playing alone in her bedroom on a cheap keyboard. Now colleges were competing for her attention. "Mrs. Patterson," Maya said during one of their lessons, "what if I am not ready for all this? What if people expect too much from me now?" Mrs. Patterson sat down next to Maya on the piano bench. "Maya, do you remember how you felt when you were playing at the talent show?" "Yes, I felt free, like the music was playing itself." "That feeling is what people are responding to," Mrs. Patterson said. "They are not just impressed by your technique or your knowledge. They are moved by your authenticity." Maya nodded, but she still felt scared. "The key is to never lose that authenticity," Mrs. Patterson continued. "No matter how much you learn or how far you go, always remember to play from your heart first." That evening, Maya sat at her keyboard in her bedroom, but now it looked different to her. Instead of seeming small and cheap, it looked like the beginning of everything. This was where she had discovered her love of music. This was where she had learned to play from her heart. Maya put on her headphones and played Clair de Lune the simple way she had first learned it. Then she played it the way she had performed it at the talent show. Finally, she let her fingers explore new variations, new melodies, new ways of expressing the feelings in her heart. As she played, Maya thought about how much her life had changed. But she also thought about how much had stayed the same. She was still the same girl who loved music more than anything else. She still got the same feeling of joy when she played. She still had the same dreams of sharing her music with the world. The only difference was that now, those dreams were starting to come true. Maya smiled as she played into the night, grateful for every note, every opportunity, and every person who had believed in her music. She was finally ready to see where her gift would take her next. 6 months after the talent show, Maya's life looked completely different. She was sitting in her bedroom, but it was not the same tiny room where she used to practice with headphones. Her family had moved to a larger apartment, and Maya now had her own music room with a real piano. The piano was a gift from her parents, who had finally understood that music was not just Maya's hobby, it was her calling. Maya was practicing for her audition at Berklee College of Music, one of the most famous music schools in the world. 3 months ago, she never would have imagined auditioning there. Now, it was one of 5 schools that wanted her to apply. Her phone buzzed with a text message. Maya looked at it and smiled. It was from a girl named Emma in Australia who had heard Maya's recording online. "Your music helped me through a really hard time," the message said. "Thank you for sharing your gift with the world." Maya got messages like this every day now. Her recording had been listened to by over 2 million people. Musicians had made their own versions of her arrangement. Music teachers used it to show their students how to play with emotion. Maya never got tired of hearing how her music affected people. Each message reminded her why she had started playing in the first place, to share the feelings in her heart with others. Mrs. Patterson knocked on the door of Maya's music room. "How is the practice going?" she asked. "Good," Maya said. "I think I am ready for the audition." In the months since the talent show, Mrs. Patterson had helped Maya develop her skills far beyond what she thought possible. Maya could now read complex sheet music, understand advanced music theory, and improvise in multiple styles, but Mrs. Patterson always reminded her that her greatest strength was still her ability to play from her heart. "Remember, Mrs. Patterson, the admissions committee will be looking for technical skill, but they will be even more interested in your musical voice. Play what you have prepared, but do not be afraid to show them who you are as an artist." Maya nodded. She had learned to balance technique with emotion, structure with creativity. "Mrs. Patterson," Maya said, "I want to thank you for everything. A year ago, I was just a girl with a keyboard. Now I'm auditioning for music college." Mrs. Patterson smiled. "Maya, I did not create your talent. I just helped you develop what was already there. The music was inside you all along." That evening, Maya's parents came into her music room. They often did this now, asking her to play for them. Music had become a shared language in their family. "Will you play something for us?" her mother asked. Maya thought for a moment, then began playing a piece she had been working on. It was her own composition, inspired by her family's journey to America. The melody told the story of leaving one home to find another, of working hard for dreams that seemed impossible, of children growing up between two cultures. As Maya played, she saw tears in her mother's eyes. Her father was listening with the same focused attention he usually reserved for important business matters. When she finished, her parents were quiet for a moment. "That was about us, was not it?" her mother asked. "Yes," Maya said, "it is about our family. About everything we have been through together." Her father cleared his throat. "Maya, I owe you another apology." Maya looked at him in surprise. "When you first wanted to learn piano, I thought it was a waste of time. I thought music could not give you a good life. But I see now that I was wrong." Maya's mother nodded. "We were thinking only about money and safety. We did not understand that music could be both a passion and a career." "Your music brings joy to people," her father continued. "That is a very important job." Maya felt her heart fill with happiness. Having her parents' support meant everything to her. "There is something else," her mother said. "Your father and I have been talking. If you get into music college, we want you to go. We will find a way to pay for it." Maya's eyes filled with tears. She knew how much sacrifice that would mean for her parents. "Mom, Dad, you do not have to do that. Some of the schools are offering scholarships." "We want to do it," her father said firmly. "You have a gift. It is our job as your parents to help you use it." A week later, Maya traveled to Boston. For her audition at Berkeley, she had prepared 2 classical pieces and 1 jazz standard. But she had also prepared something special, her own arrangement of Clair de Lune. The piece that had started everything. In the audition room, Maya played her prepared pieces perfectly. The judges nodded approvingly as she demonstrated her technical skills and musical knowledge. Then one of the judges asked the question Maya had been hoping for. "Do you have anything else you would like to play for us? Something that shows us who you are as a musician?" Maya smiled. "Yes, I do." She began playing Clair de Lune, starting with the simple, original melody. Then, as she had done at the talent show, she began to add her own variations. She let the music tell her story, the story of a quiet girl who discovered her voice through piano keys. As Maya played, she forgot about the audition. She forgot about trying to impress the judges. She just played from her heart, the way Mrs. Rodriguez had taught her, the way Mrs. Patterson had encouraged her, the way her soul had always wanted to. When she finished, the room was quiet. Then one of the judges spoke. "Miss Chun, that was extraordinary. Where did you learn to improvise like that?" "I taught myself," Maya said. "I started by playing what I felt instead of just what was written on the page." The judges exchanged looks. Maya could tell they were impressed, but she tried not to get her hopes up. 2 weeks later, Maya got the call. She had been accepted to Berkeley with a full scholarship. Maya hung up the phone and ran to find her parents. When she told them the news, her mother cried and her father lifted her off the ground in a huge hug. "We are so proud of you," her mother said through her tears. That night, Maya sat at her piano and played until late. She played all her favorite pieces, and she played new melodies that came from her excitement about the future. Maya thought about how much had changed since that day. She first heard piano music outside the school music room. She had gone from hiding in the back of music class to earning a scholarship at one of the world's best music schools. But the most important thing had not changed. Maya still felt the same joy when she played. She still believed in the power of music to touch people's hearts. She still played every note with the same love that had carried her through those early days of practice on her bedroom keyboard. Maya's phone buzzed with another message from someone who had heard her recording. This time it was from a young boy who said her music had inspired him to start learning piano. Maya smiled as she read the message. This was why she played. This was why she had been brave enough to audition for the talent show. This was why all the practice and hard work and scary moments had been worth it. Maya had learned that the most beautiful music comes not from perfect technique, but from the willingness to share your authentic self with the world. She had learned that sometimes the biggest opportunities come from the smallest moments of courage. Most importantly, Maya had learned that dreams are not too big if you are willing to work for them and brave enough to let your true voice be heard. As Maya played her piano in her music room, surrounded by acceptance letters from colleges and messages from fans around the world, she felt grateful for every step of her journey. From the cheap keyboard to the grand piano, from the empty bedroom to the crowded auditorium, from the scared girl in the back of music class to the confident young woman heading to music college, Maya's story was just beginning. She had found her voice, and now she was ready to share it with the world. The quiet dreamer had become a shining star, and the best was yet to come.